Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another great edition of my Grue Rume Show. And for the Grue Rume Show today, I got a very awesome guest, and he is a professional wrestling. He's been doing wrestling since he was a little kid. It is in his family. His mom and dad wrestles. Brother, sister, knows her WWE's Paige and AEW as Saraya, and I'm talking about Zodiac, and I'm really looking forward to having a talk with him about growing up in the wrestling world, like his whole entire family are wrestlers. So it's going to be a really fun time having a chat with Zach. I am Rocco Cross. I am the host at Stutters, as you could tell already, and I am the host of the Grue Rume Show. And I want to thank AEW Wrestling for helping me set the interview up with Zach. So hats off to everyone in the media team for AEW. And without further ado, here is my interview with Zach. So stay tuned and welcome to my nightmare. Okay, buddy. Welcome to Grue, and thank you so much for taking time out of your day, night. I don't know what time it is there, but thank you for taking time out and coming on.
No, you're very welcome. It's actually 9 p.m. here in the UK. So time's getting on a bit, but we've had a great day. Thank you.
Oh, nice. So it's like the first thing I wanted to ask you is like you basically grew up in this amazing sport, and what was it like growing up like as a kid, like watching like your mom and dad kicking butt on television and going there live, and so how was that like?
You know what? Yeah, I get asked this question a lot, and the first response is it was normal. I knew no other life, so I was sometimes a little bit envious of other kids that had parents going to work 9 to 5. You'd get the weekends together, you go on holidays. Wrestling is 365 days a year. And on the independents, you've got to grind. And I will tilt my hat to my mum and dad. They really busted their butts when we were kids, working 25 to 28 shows per month. They're out there grinding for the biggest companies in the UK at the time, which is All Star Wrestling, run by Brian Dixon. A company that Scott Conway used to run, and Rumble Promotions and everything else. It had its ups. I'd seen the entirety of the UK before I was 10 years old. I was meeting my childhood heroes as a child. That sounds ironic, right? But I'm turning up to shows, and you got the Bushwhackers, you got Greg the Hammer Valentine, you got Yokozuna, you got Earthquake. I'm getting to meet these people after watching them on TV. So yeah, I mean, it had its ups, but it really did have its downs as well, because if they didn't wrestle, we didn't earn money. And there was a lot of hard times where we struggled as a family. Either my mum's injured, my dad's injured, the date sheet's been torn up because dad's had an argument with one of the promoters. But as a whole, I wouldn't change any of it. It's made me the man I am today, and I'm very thankful and blessed that I was born into this industry that we all know and love, professional wrestling, right?
You're exactly that must have been so amazing there. Like you're a little kid and you're growing up with like those guys you mentioned, like Valentine and Yoko, and like, oh wow,
Yeah.
that must have
And
been so amazing.
well, you got to think, I was growing up with a generation of, now the NXT coaches. Robbie Brookside, he was the top
Mhm.
babyface in the UK. And, the Highlander, Drew McDonald, the Superflies, Carl Kramer, Frankie Sloan, James Mason, Dean Allmark. Like you talk about professional wrestling and, the greats of British wrestling. I was growing up watching those guys when
Mhm.
British wrestling was on its backside, and they were bringing in people like the Bushwhackers to put bums on seats. And when these guys were coming in, they're getting 2, 3, 4,000 people coming through the doors. But when they went home, 2, 3,000 people are coming back to watch the British wrestlers because they were so good, but we didn't have TV showcasing us every week. So it was very, very smart business etiquette from Brian Dixon and Scott Conway at the time, that we're getting these released American wrestlers, bringing them over and helping the British wrestlers earn a living. It was good business.
Oh wow, nice. And when you actually started to train to start going into the ring, how long did it take for you to get used to like the bumps and the rope burns and everything that came with it?
You know what? I pretty much walked out of my mum's womb as a professional wrestler. I'm not going to lie to you. I can honestly, my earliest memories as a toddler growing up, 3, 4 years old, I just remember being fixated with professional wrestling. I was going around watching the British wrestling, and then I'm watching videotapes of the American wrestling or watching the pay-per-views on Channel 4. Do you know what I mean? It was crazy, bro. It's unreal. But so, in short, I started managing. So what would happen? We have the holiday camps over here, which is a family show. It's an hour show. You get 3 matches. It will be 2 singles, and then the 4 wrestlers will come back for a tag match at the end. And they were doing this for holiday makers. It was free entertainment that the holiday camps would pay you to do.
Wow.
But with that, you were getting 200 shows a year. So you were getting a lot of reps, right? I was going out as a 6-year-old in a blue Power Ranger outfit as the babyface's mascot. And I was joining in. I would get 3 spots every match. We call it the run round peekaboo, which is where the villain would chase me around. And then I'd go round one corner. The babyface would jump out with a clothesline. We'd do the Bronco Buster in the corner as my other one. And then I'd come in, I'd duck 2, give him the big flying head scissors, jump to the middle, give him the Hurricane Rana. And then at the end of the match, bearing in mind I'm 6, the babyface would go over, and then the villain, which 9 out of 10 was my dad, I'd be celebrating, walk into the villain, he'd pick me up, body slam me, hit me with the big leg drop, leg guillotine. The place would go deadly silent. I don't know the correct terminology now, but I was billed as a Mexican midget or a porg, a person of restricted growth. So at 6 years old, I'm turning up to these venues in a mask. I'm not allowed to talk. I'm not allowed, I'm not allowed to do anything. My dad said, if you want to be on the road and be a professional wrestler, the first rule is keep this shut and keep these and these open. That's all you need to do. So 6 years old, I'm doing that. I get to 9, well, just before my 10th birthday. I've turned up to a show, and when we got there, a car had broke down and 3 of the wrestlers couldn't turn up. So the promoter at the time said to my dad, hey, we've evolved Zach from a blue Power Ranger to, Boo Boo the Clown, which was a ripoff of Dink the Clown, right? He said, do you think that Zach would be able to go into this 6-man tag and wrestle? And my dad said, why don't you ask him? And before he even asked me, I went, yes, I can do that.
Oh, wow.
So I've gone out at the Princess Theatre in Clacton in front of 900 fans. I done 5 minutes. I done all my normal spots, duck, flying head scissors, the Rana. We're doing the peekaboo, a little bit of comedy because I was a clown. And then the same thing would happen. They'd catch me off a crossbody, give me a body slam. This time they'd go to the top rope, hit the leg guillotine, out. I was knocked out.
Oh,
not legit, but we told the crowd that was it. He can't perform no more. And I'd done that. And then the promoter gave me another 30 odd shows for him, and I got another 20 odd shows from other people that had heard about this angle that we'd done. So at 10 years old, my first date sheet had 50 shows on it.
Oh my God, that's crazy.
Right?
And everyone knows, like, you always looked out for little sis.
Yes.
And when she was going out with people, like dating guys, were the guys that scared to meet you?
You know what? A lot of people, especially recently, have told me that I've got that intimidating look. I'm a big dude. I'm 6'3", I'm 17 stone, 240 pounds. And I keep everyone at arm's length. That's one thing you learn in professional wrestling is you can't have too many friends because you're in business, right? As Scott Hall would say, it's not show friends to show biz. So I've got that exterior that was put into me really early on. So yeah, in a long story short, I did want that intimidating factor because my sister, there's only 14 months between us. We were like twins. She was my best friend, and everything that we done together, we traveled the road together, we stayed at home together when there was not enough room in the car. You know, we had to look after each other. We had to fend for each other. And there was times she took good care of me. And, you know, there's times I took good care of her. And, you know, that still happens to this day. You know, to this day, we are still very close and are like twins, truthfully.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, I watched the film. Like I know like from what the film showed, like how close you and her were, and how close you are with with mom and dad too.
We're
And
a very close family. We're a
oh
very,
yeah,
very close family, all of us. But just to touch on the movie quickly, you know, I've not actually put it out there too much, but you know, I felt like the movie actually maybe hindered me a little bit because it showcased me as a drinker. I don't drink. It showcased me as a thug. You know, I've been in trouble once in my life, you know, and that would have stopped me going to America if it was anything serious. You know,
wow.
so I have a working visa. I've never been in trouble, never like convicted of something bad, no felonies, nothing like that. You know, and this movie sort of, even though I highlighted what I'd done for the community, which was very true, you know, I did pick up the kids, I took care of them. I do work with, you know, vulnerable and disabled people. I give them their dreams. I did train a blind guy to wrestle. But the flip side of it, you know, I felt like that was kind of you know, hitting that nail into my coffin. That's how I felt. I felt like, damn, you know, this is going to bury me because this is not the person that I am. I'm not a drinker. I'm not violent. I'm not none of these things that I've been depicted as, but I needed to be the flip side to her story.
Oh, okay, I got it.
You
Yeah.
know, so the real emotion of it, you know, when Saraya left for America, the reason I didn't go is the night before. Remember, I just said I don't drink. The night before, I had to get myself drunk because I was that upset and that low that I was losing my left, right side, whatever you. It was like losing a limb. You
Oh
know,
yeah.
we'd been like this, and she was leaving, and I knew at that time that I couldn't keep flying out there to go see her. All I could do was keep working to see if I could get to America to get signed. I never once laid a hand on her. She never come back from WWE to fight me at one of my dad's indie shows. You know, there was none of that. And these are the little things over the years that I've had to sort of just remain humble and keep a mouth shut, you know, but I think it's time to talk about it and tell people, like, a lot of this, you know, is depicted on a true story, but it was fabricated quite a lot, you know?
Yeah, I kind of I kind of see that with like the wrestling films because I went and saw the Iron Claw, and Kevin Von Erich said that most of that stuff was false.
Yeah. I've heard through the grapevine that they didn't even speak to Kevin. He'd had no input.
Wow.
How true that is, it's not reliable sources, but I've
Mhm.
heard this through the community that Kevin didn't really have an input in that, which if that's true, that's sad. That's really
Yeah,
sad, you
I
know?
know exactly. Wow. Okay. And you also teamed a lot with Roy, your brother, and like you guys were like the hard hitting brawler kind of guys. And
Yes.
how do you compare like that hard hitting brawling style that the British style is compared to the style here in the States?
So I'll quickly answer the stuff about the hooligans. You know, me and my brother picked me up when I was at my lowest. You know, I'd been rejected at that point 3 times by WWE. I'd gone out to train with TNA and, you know, go to a Pacific school that didn't work out too well. So I come home very deflated, ready to just give up on my dreams. I said, that's it. You know, at the time I was 20 years old, 19 even. You know, I was ready to just jack it all in and just get on with life.
Wow.
My brother was at the top of the game at this point. You know, he's wrestling all the imports, companies like FWA and 1PW and stuff like that. You know, my brother was the best in British wrestling at that point. And he said to me, hey, look, why don't you tag with me? Come tag with me. Let's go run the indies. Let's see if we could do this together. But we needed to be something different. You know, too many people want to be the next whoever, you know, the next Brock Lesnar, the next John Cena, the next Hulk
Yeah.
Hogan. There's already been that. So what
Yeah.
makes you unique to get you further? What's, you know, how can you be the first you, right? So everyone always associate my family as, you know, carnies, travelers, gypsies, thugs, you know, hooligans. And as soon as we were like, you know what, let's just give them what they want. This is what they depict us as. Let's be this and go in there and just, yeah, I don't know if I can curse,
Oh,
but
yeah,
let's
yeah,
mess
definitely.
people up. You know, let's go in, let's just go fuck these guys up and make however many people in this building believe for the 10, 15, 20 minutes that we're in there, you know?
No.
So going to the second question, the difference between British wrestling and the style that we're doing now, you know, I believe that sometimes you can read the match. You can see where that's going. You know, it's whereas for British wrestling, I still believe there's that little bit of authenticity, that little bit of what is to come. Did Zach really just punch that guy in the face? Is he really beating the living shit out of him right now? You know, I was brought up old school, and our job was to not break kayfabe. Our job was to
Exactly.
make everyone in the building believe that you are ripping this guy's arm off, or you are punching them in the head, or you want to hurt them. If you're the villain, you didn't sign autographs. If you're the good guy, you're out there for 3-4 hours taking pictures. That
Yep.
was it in a nutshell, right?
Yes.
So, you know, this is why I want to bring that old school mentality of a British strong style wrestler, someone that was in the era of British strong style wrestling, and bring that to America. And I believe that's going to make me stand out and hopefully help me climb the ladder.
Oh my god, yes. You don't have like a lot of like hard hitting brawler type guys. I mean, like you see guys in WWE like Sheamus, like he's a
Mm.
hard hitter that like there aren't many.
The thing is, right, when you think about professional wrestling now, you know, when I think about when I was growing up, how many people in that locker room, you know, would you fear to go and ask for an autograph or believe that they could kick your head in? You know, you look at people like Vader, Haku, you know, real manly men that, you know, when that ring, all right, they're taming themselves down a bit. But if you want to piss them off outside the ring, you know these guys are going to knock you the fuck out.
Oh my god, yes.
My job now is everyone wants to be the greatest of all time. Everyone wants to be the best wrestler in the world. I don't. I'm a hybrid athlete. I want to bring realism and I want people to sit there and go, is Zak Knight unhinged? Does he just want to hurt people? Is he, you know, does he thrive on seeing these people harrow away or being at his feet or bleeding? Like, because to me, when Zak Knight gets in the ring, my job is to fuck up that person. I want to hurt them. That's me. Outside of wrestling, I'm a very sweet, lovable, big friendly giant. When I'm in that ring, I want to hurt them. I want to be
Mm-hmm.
the person that I can't be in real life. And
Hmm.
that is someone that will generally go in there and, you know, it's either kill or be killed.
Oh no, yeah, exactly. And one of the wrestlers that I absolutely loved growing up was Yushin Liger, and I saw that you actually had a match with him. And and from what I read, like liked you and your style. Like, how was it like interacting with Yushin Thunder Liger?
Man, what a legend. What a legend. We actually worked him at a show called Super Clash in Gloucestershire,
Mhm.
um, at the GL1, actually. So, you know, we were there, and if my recollection, you know, I'm sure it was David Finlay, Danny Boy Collins, and Justin van der Liger against me, my brother, and my dad.
Oh my God! Wow.
So, you know, you look at David Finlay right now, who's doing fantastic stuff, you know, real good stuff. Danny Boy
Yeah.
Collins is one of the greatest professional wrestlers in the world, not just British wrestling, in the world. You know, 40 years of experience, typical underdog, but the perfect babyface. And, you know, I'm getting to work, you know, two legends and David, who's, you know, gone on to step out the shadows of his dad and become David Finlay, the man who he is. And I love that. But so we got in there and, you know, Liger, he wanted to work. He's like, let's go. And me and my brother are saying to him, actually, we could probably get a night off here. We're not telling you not going to work, but let's
Hmm.
work to the audience that we know. And straight away, he's like, This is your country. Let's do what you think's right. How humbling. This geezer's been in the business over 3 decades, and he's letting 2 little Norwich lads, control the style that we do. So we went in there. We beat the living shit out of David Finlay. We kept Liger and Danny on the tag rope. When they come in with a house of fire. My brother and Liger ran a really cool spot. Danny and my dad are running cool shit.
Nice.
And we come back out and, he's shaking our hand and, we're being very gracious and we're bowing with him and everything else. And believe it or not, a couple of months later, we got an email from New Japan saying about how Liger had gone back and put us over. But it wasn't them extending us to come for a trip or anything. It was kind of like, hey, come stay in our dojo for 3 months. We'll take care of this. We'll take care of that. Just get yourselves out here. We think we could do business with you.
Oh, wow.
But, this is 10 years ago. And 10 years ago, we were still under that old school mentality of if they want you, they'll fly you in. They'll do this. They'll do that. I can't leave my wife and I have my little boy with a girl on the way at that point. So I'm like, can I really leave for 3 months, not earn the money? How am I going to pay my bills? It was, to be honest, I regret the decision so bad. I really do. People ask me, why have you not made it? Why have you not done this? Why have you not done that? I never took them leap of faith, and I was stuck in an old school mentality for far too many years. I was an old school guy in a young man's body, and I didn't utilize what I had in front of me to the best of my ability until 5 years ago.
Oh, okay. Oh, wow.
So, right. This is crazy, right? And it took me a long time to understand that. I was, like I said, I was old school. When you're growing up and you're looking at people like Mick McManus and Rollerball Rocco and Fit Finlay and stuff like that, none of these guys are in outstanding shape like a John Cena. They were just athletic workmen that,
they were badasses.
Yeah. So we were under that mentality. You don't need to worry about being in shape. You don't need this. If you're a good wrestler, the cream always rises to the top. Blah-de-da-de-da-de-da-de-da. No. How times changed, and I was so unaware that I needed to be everywhere, and I needed to be a professional wrestler, not just the days of the shows, not when people are cheering me, when people ain't cheering me, when I can't be bothered to go to the gym, but I'm dragging my ass up to make sure I'm training so I look better than 80-90% of the indie wrestlers here now. It really, I wish I knew what I knew now 10, 15 years ago, but hindsight's a wonderful thing.
And now you're part of AEW. Like, you started out with Ring of Honor, and you worked your way up to television now. And how did you get to be part of both Ring of Honor and AEW, which are both under Tony Khan?
So here's a story that is definitely going to rattle some fans, right? So before my sister got to AEW, myself, a middleman, and Christopher Daniels were all talking about Zak Zodiac coming to AEW. This was a year before my sister got there. Okay. It was pushed back. Has he got a visa? Can he do this? No, he hasn't got a visa, but he can get a visa. If you guys are interested, he's willing to, get a visa, etc. We were speaking for a good 5-6 months, and then it was like, okay, we need to just hold fire. I then found out that they were chatting to my sister, and she might be going there because she's offered by two big companies, WWE and AEW. She's having to make this big decision. And, I'm speaking to her and I'm like, if you need to go back, go back. But I've been talking to these guys. If you go there, then that might help me get my foot in the door.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So she ended up going to AEW, and for everyone that needs to know this out there, yeah, she did say, hey, give my brother that shot. I know you've been talking to him. He's got his visa now. She helped pay for my visa. She believed in me that much that she was like, hey, bro, I'm going to buy your visa. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. You could pay me back in good time. But I know that when they see you, they will love you. You've just never been given the opportunity, right? So we were talking. She then went there. She then said, hey, I'm going to come here, but I do want you to just give my brother a dark match, not a contract. Give him a dark match and see what he can do. They then said, sure, once he's got his visa, we can do that. And then October 2023, I got my visa and I pretty much hit the road immediately, went straight to America. You know, for 8 weeks, I'd done nothing but learn the ropes, understanding what AEW is, finding out who's where, who I need to know, how it's operated, you know, how the camera positions, promo shots, backstage videos. I wasn't just thrown in the deep end. It was, hey, come in, this is how we do things, etc. Right? Then I did have a good conversation with Tony, and you know, I said to Tony, I want to start from the bottom. I don't want to be put in, and he wasn't telling me he was going to put me anywhere, but he gave me time to talk, and I was like, hey, I want to come in, I want to start from the complete bottom, I want to work my way up. I know everyone's going to be telling me I'm only here because of my sister. I want them to see my work. I want them to see me climb the ladder. I want them to see me grow. You know, I don't want it to just be, you know, thrown. Tony's like, great, because you're starting in Ring of Honor. And, you know, it was music to my ears because, you know, it was kind of, well, we could put you with your sister, but we agree. We do believe that you need to start from the bottom. You know, and there was no red carpet rolled out. It's been grueling. I've had to grind. You know, I've been away months and months away from my wife and kids who are staying in England while I'm out in America. You know, there's no timeline on how long I'm going to be doing these tours. It could be 3 weeks or it could be 8 weeks. But in 6 months, I was only home 25 days. And it was 4 days here, 5 days there, you know. And remember that I'm flying in from California, which is 8 hours behind. I'm coming in. I'm trying to, you know, catch up with the time zone difference. I'm jet lagged. You know, by day 3, I'm like, okay, I found my bearings. Let's take the kids to school. Day 4, I'm back on another plane, flying back out to America because I'm trying to show them that I'm not scared of the grind. I'm not scared of being out here. I'm willing to work. You know, and with that, I believe that they started seeing, hey, this guy's committed. He's out here. He's left his wife and children. You know, they started giving me Ring of Honor matches. And I felt like the fans that were, you know, sort of slating me saying I'm only there because of my sister, they sort of had a 360 turn. They were like, hey, actually, we like this star. We like what this guy offers. And having them 4 Ring of Honor matches, you know, which I would have quite happily stayed there for 10 matches, truthfully, you know. But I'm not going to lie, I was buzzed. As soon as I went from Ring of Honor, I then went with my sister. I'm trying to find who they want me to be. You know, who is Zak Knight? Because Zak Zodiac's not really a villain. I'm a babyface in the UK. You know, who is Zak Knight? So, you know, at the beginning, I'm trying to be something I'm not. Then it was like, okay, let me talk, let me do this, let me do that, let me find my path. I'm pitching ideas, and before I know it, I'm finding my feet. I know who I am, and I went and had a killer match with Cool Hand Ange, and I couldn't have been any more thankful for that opportunity.
Wow. And what I like too, like I see like you in Ring of Honor and AEW, like you got to carry your brawling style, like you know, they didn't hold it back. Like you can actually do the style you're used to doing in AEW.
Well, look, I'm not being funny, you know, and this is what I say to my students as well. I can do backflips. I can do 450s, but they've got the greatest high flyer in the world and Will Ospreay there right now.
It's
For
true.
me going out there and try and do that doesn't make any sense. You know, they've got great technical wrestlers there. They've got, you know, Brian Danielson.
Yeah.
So why am I going to go in there and try and tech?
True.
Yeah.
True.
So I'm only left with my heritage, my roots, my fundamentals. What have I learned that made me different on the indies in England, Europe, Mexico, and everywhere else where I've traveled? The one thing that always stood out is people said, you are the best striker in this business. Your strikes look so real. They're believable. So, you know, and 9 out of 10 is because I'm actually punching them. I don't give a shit, right? But yeah, so I knew that I couldn't go in there and fly like Will Ospreay. I can't go in and technical wrestle like Daniel Bryan. You know, I can't go in there and be Kenny Omega. You know, I have to go in there and be Zak Knight. And Zak Knight is a hybrid athlete. He is a street fighter. He's the guy that's done amateur boxing, white collar boxing. He's punch ups on the streets. This guy is a fighter because he's had to fight for everything that he's got in life. Nothing's been handed to me. You know, I've had to fight everything. My biggest fight in life was mental health. You know, I'm over 300 pounds of weight. I lost everything, you know, and I had to fight to get back in shape, fight to get back on the indies, fight to become that name again. You know, I've had to start in this business from the bottom so many times that doesn't scare me because I know what I bring. No one else is going to match my energy. No one's going to be as intense. No one's going to be as hard hitting. No one's going to be as tough as me in the ring. I don't care who you put in there. You know, it could be anyone from any company. No one's going to match my intensity and my style of professional wrestling.
Oh no, yeah, I've been watching your stuff there, and it's like when you hit someone, you're like, oh damn, okay.
Yeah, and you know what, bro? This is it. This is, you know, this is professional wrestling. You're not trying to
Mhm.
pull the wool over anyone's eyes. You don't go to a movie and, you know, sit there and go, well, that car crash wasn't real. You know, you're going there because this is something that you want to see, something that you enjoy, right?
Exactly.
But if we've got 5, 10, however many thousand in that arena, and I can get 100 or 50% of them to go, did he just punch him in the face? You know, is this guy actually trying to hurt this guy? I thought wrestling was fake. If I can make one person in that building do that, I've done my job because that's my style of wrestling. Is I like to make people believe in what I'm doing, whether that's storytelling or actions. My job is to make people believe in my style of wrestling.
Oh yeah, definitely. And now like you're in a storyline angle with your sister and Harley, right? I'm
Yes,
blanking on the
Harley
name.
Cameron.
Harley, yes. And Harley Harley plays she's good at the crazy role. And
Yes,
I love like you match with her too because like you're doing the crazy guy, she's the crazy girl, and your sister is there and she's tough as nails, and
yeah.
it's a really good group.
Oh, thanks, bro. You know what? Harley is phenomenal. And, you know, I want to
Mhm.
give her a big shout out because she actually debuts this coming week against Mariah May. And, you know, people talk about grind and, you know, this girl has been there for over a year. She has busted her ass to, you know, keep herself relevant, stay on TV, and, you know, all pays off this week. You know, she gets to make her debut. People are going to see how good Harley is, not just her character, but what she does in the ring as well. You know, me and Saraya are rooting really hard for her. But yeah, I believe the dynamic of the group is good. You know,
Oh
Harley
yeah.
and Saraya, the way that they gel on camera, it's so hard to keep that straight face at times when she's talking about my mum being hot and my dad being hot, and then Saraya's spraying her in the face with a, you know, a water bloody whatever water bottle. I'm sat there, I'm like, what is this? What are we doing? You know, when do we fight? When do I get to scream, shout? When do I get to cut a promo about how hard I'm going to hurt someone? You know, but this is entertainment. This is TV wrestling, and you know, being with them two has taught me a hell of a lot. And even though my sister's the young one, she's kind of becoming my mentor at the moment, and she's guiding me and helping me. You know, as well as a lot of guys. I'm not going to be one of those guys that start name dropping, but
Mhm.
there's a few hierarchies in AEW that are really helping me understand TV wrestling and what I need to, you know, mix up and change up in order to get to the next level. And I'm so thankful for that. These are people that have been there and done it, you know. But yeah, the dynamic of the group, I'm loving it. I love being in a faction with my sister. And I'm very excited to see, well, I'm very excited for the fans to see what's to come.
Oh yeah, definitely. Like I'm a huge fan of AEW. I know a lot of fans shit on it a lot, but like I'm a fan. Like I love it. Like it's good wrestling, and you know the entertainment stuff is the other league. But like
Yeah,
this is good. This is good wrestling, and that's what I love to watch. Like I love the matches. Like I don't think anyone is on the level of AEW when it comes to actually putting on a match.
yeah.
And
Listen, this is where the
yeah,
best wrestlers in the world are. You know,
yes,
and
exactly.
I say wrestlers because that's what we are, right? We're a wrestling show. This isn't sports entertainment. This isn't a soap opera. You know, yes, we will tell stories, and yes, there's a little bit of comical stuff in there at times, but you know, the spine of AEW is putting on dream matches, good quality matches that the fans want to see. You know, speaking of fans that, you know, you said they shit on AEW, you know,
Mhm.
there's an old thing over here, and that's everyone hates Man United Football Club, right?
Okay,
And the
okay.
reason they hate Man United is because Man United was successful for a lot of years, and it stopped other football teams from winning or becoming number one, this, that, and the other.
Mhm.
I'm not saying AEW are winning anything, because I think fans need to stop saying that this is a rivalry. It's
I
not.
know,
It's
I
business.
know,
This is
I know.
professional wrestling. AEW, WWE, TNA, New Japan, you know, all the rest of the companies, when you think about it, Defy and GCW and stuff like that, wrestling is thriving right now. And
Oh,
not
it
every
is. It is
company
time.
is going to be everyone's cup of tea. You know, it's not. But that don't mean that what that company doing is wrong. That doesn't mean that, you know, they haven't got their own fan base. Right now, we need to enjoy the fact that for the first time in maybe 15 years, wrestling is booming.
It is. It is.
Think how many millions of people go weekly, or hundreds of thousands, whatever. How many fans are going to wrestling shows across the world right now? We must be talking millions
Oh,
weekly,
I know, definitely.
right? And so many people want to hate on that. And so many people only want there to be one company at the top of the
Mhm.
tree. But what they don't understand is, while there's more than one, there's a healthy competition. That makes this other company, or our company, or any other company, put their best display on. And
Yeah.
while they're feeling pressure, people are performing. And while people are performing, there's more people getting paychecks. Someone like me that's busted my ass for 20 years on the indies, that don't have anything to show for my career in financially at the moment, apart from broken bones, a beaten down body, and a lot of stories. To say that I'm now at, you know, one of the biggest companies in the world, and I now finally get to start saving some money and working towards my children's future,
Yeah.
that's huge, bro. That's massive. And that's what people have got to remember, is
Oh,
that,
yeah.
you know, it's not a rivalry. This is professional wrestling. If you love professional wrestling, you'll understand that right now it's thriving, and we need more of this.
I
We
know,
need more.
exactly. I know. I know. I 100% agree. Like I hate looking online and seeing who's pro AEW, who's pro WWE, who's feuding with who. Like wrestling is booming. Just enjoy wrestling. Don't care if WWE's doing better, if AEW's doing better. Just enjoy wrestling.
Wrestling's doing better. How about we
Exactly.
start this right now, me and you? We're not pro AEW, we're not pro WWE. We're pro wrestling,
Pro wrestling. Exactly.
right?
Yeah.
That's what we are. We're pro wrestling. And
Exactly.
as a professional wrestler, I am still the biggest fan of professional wrestling. I love it. I sit
Mhm.
at home and watch professional wrestling. Even when I'm not working, I'm still watching it because it's a study and I love this industry.
Oh
You know,
yeah.
for me, pro wrestling all the way.
And you got like a lot of good talent there, like you were saying. You got Jericho, you got Will Ospreay, you got Kenny Omega, and Penta, and I mean, the list goes on and on. John Moxley, and is there
Yeah.
anyone you would love to work in AEW?
You know what? I'm going to chuck this out there now. There's 5 people. Look, I want to work everyone. I'm not going to lie. You know, they're the best of the best. So I want to work all of them because it's only going to make me better. But there's a
Mhm.
list that I've got for the remainder of 2024. If I could tick one of these names off, and if I can be on, you know, whether it's 0 hour or a part of Wembley, they're my 2 biggest goals. So the 5 names I've got right now, and coincidentally, they're all the big names. Me and Will Ospreay never had a singles match.
Okay.
We've been in tag matches, but we've never had a single match, right? Will Ospreay. I think that Brian Danielson, whatever you know him as, is the best wrestler in the world. And I
Yes.
don't mean, wrestling as in technical wrestling. I mean as an all-rounder. The man can fly, he can brawl, he can tech, he can tell a story, he carries emotion. That to me is the best wrestler in the world. I need to get in the ring with that man and learn from him before he hangs up his boots.
Yes.
So we've got Will, we've got Brian, Edge. I need to get in there with him before he hangs up his boots.
Definitely. Definitely.
Right? So we've got Brian, Will, Edge. I'd be silly if I didn't say Jericho. Again, these are people that I grew up watching. And to throw just a curveball in here, someone I want to get in there and mix it up with that I think will hit me as hard as I hit them, Roderick Strong.
Oh yeah, yeah, that definitely, definitely,
I
yes.
want that man in the ring. I want to go toe to toe, and I want a fight. I don't want a pro wrestling match. I want two men that are willing to go in there and give blood, sweat, and tears to the audience. And I believe that Roderick Strong could get in there and do that.
Oh my God, yeah, in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
And I'm a big horror movie fan, so I like asking my guests this: are there any horror movies that you like to watch?
You know what? I'm not big into movies anymore. I got to be honest with you. Once upon a time, I'd like to sit there and watch a movie. I'm a series guy now.
Yeah.
But for me, I like that old school crime. I like that violence. For me, I would rather sit there and watch an old school, gangster movie than I would a horror. It's just not my genre of movies. But man, I'll tell you what. I don't remember the name of this movie. You may be able to help me here, but
Okay.
it may have been called something like The Doll's House. I was 7 years old in my dad's bar, a public house that he had. We're sat upstairs, me and my sister, and this movie's come on, I don't know, BBC or something like that. And we started watching it, and it's like post Watershed, 10 p.m. or whatever. And this scared the living shit out of me so much that horror movies now remind me of that trauma. And I just
Oh,
remember it was about a doll's house, and apparently the dolls come to life, and this doll was, sort of haunting this little girl. To this day, I'm like, this is scary as shit. I
I
remember the door
I
just
think
creaking and the doll being real, like real life behind the door. I couldn't shut my door for a week, bro.
I think that's Dolly Darris.
Is that what it is?
I think so. It's either that or the movie called Dolls. I I
Whatever it is,
it's
I'm
one of them.
33 and I still can't watch that fucking movie.
And what what about songs? What kind of music is on your playlist?
Dude, I'm into everything. I love all sorts. It depends what sort of mood that I'm in, you know. But here's something that I know that is probably going to break the internet, but I'm a big boy band person. Give me
Okay.
Backstreet Boys, give me Boyzone, give me Westlife, take that. I'm in my element. Give me a strong love ballad. I'm happy. I'm also into my rock. I love all the old school stuff. Give me Metallica or, maybe a Bon Jovi or something like that.
Mhm.
Um, but I would be stupid if I did not give a shout out to my brother-in-law and Fallen in Reverse. That is my gym playlist every single day.
Nice.
Popular Monster, Watch the World Burn, Voiced in My Head, Drugging Me, all these songs, bro, they're so inspiring and uplifting. That gets me through my workout every single day.
Nice. And what do you think would be your go-to karaoke song if you were going to do one?
Oh, I love karaoke. I love karaoke. I'm an Oasis fan. I would either go with, the classics like Wonderwall, Morning Glory, Live Forever, Champagne Supernova, or it would probably be a very stoppy love song, uh, maybe like the Goo Goo Dolls, whatever it is, or Jason Mraz or something like that. I just love something that you start singing and the whole place sings with you. That's the type of song you need on a karaoke so that you can hide your terrible voice.
And you know you're in great shapes. Like what kind of workout do you do, and are you on like any special diet, or do you eat whatever you want?
So okay, first and foremost, my training is quite strenuous. I put a lot of pressure on myself training wise because I've darted for so many years that now I'm not as strict on myself as I once was. you
Okay.
know um but I find that if you're willing to put the work in gym and cardio and stuff like that, then the calories you're burning off you need to put back in your body anyway. I'm not horrendous. I've just got a sweet tooth. I love a chocolate bar. That's my worst thing. um but I go for a run most mornings, either on the streets around the park, or I'll do hill sprints on running machine in the gym. I always start with cardio. I train 6 days a week. I work
Wow.
every body part twice. So I'll
Oh,
do chest twice a week. I'll do shoulders twice a week, arms, you name it, every body part. I do a lot of circuit training. I do a lot of boxing classes. I do a lot of
ooh,
skipping. Um, for me, Kurt Angle, I got to tour with him for 2 years with TNA when I was a young lad.
mhm.
And the only advice he kept telling me was, to be the best, you have to train like the best. And, you when you look at his documentary and stuff, a lot of people have been saying, that his cardio, his wind in the ring, would intimidate people, because they knew that if they get in there, they're going to have to work with Kurt. And if Kurt wanted
Oh
to,
yeah.
take up a gear, he could. I like to be that man. I like to make sure that, I'm training so hard that I've got enough gas in the tank that if they tell me that I need to do a 60-minute Ironman match next week, I can get in there and know that I can do it.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So when you work that hard, it gives you a little bit of flexibility with your diet. I'm good. I eat. I eat clean. I'm not. I don't eat too many carbs, if I'm honest.
Mhm.
But my at least 3-4 times a week, you'll see me with a chocolate bar in my hand because it's my downfall. I can't help it. I've got 3 kids. If it's sat
Oh
there, I've
yeah,
got to
that's
eat it,
true.
bro.
And I notice you have a lot of ink. Like, is there any tat that you like best? Like, is there one tattoo that means more to you, or you like the most?
No, to be honest, every tattoo I've got, there's a meaning or a reason behind why I've done it. So this sleeve actually is a gambling theme. Me and my brother both had a sleeve done that was very similar, like the main parts are similar, and that was because we're a tag team. But I lean more towards the gambling stuff because for many years, I was quite bad on like fruit machines, scratch cards, stuff like that. It's a mugs game. And this is a constant reminder to me that, we've got past that. We've got past
Mhm.
that stage. It was just a phase. Luckily enough, I never got myself in too much trouble or got myself in debt. But, sometimes I'd spend money that I didn't have that was there for, bills or whatever, because you're
Yeah.
trying to flip it because work's dried up or the indie wages are terrible and you just got to try and make a quick 100-200 pounds to pay stuff. But yeah, I'm covered in tattoos. A lot of it's to do with my family, my kids' names, or occasions. I got a stupid tattoo on my hand of a plane with the number 19, and that was because in 2019 we were celebrating my anniversary, and a load of couples went to Magaluf with us. And
Oh
I wasn't
wow.
even drunk. Like I said, I don't drink, but I was the
Yeah,
stupid
yeah.
guy who went, we should all get matching tattoos. Let's get an aeroplane with a 19 on it. That's the type of guy I am. And that's why I've got so many tattoos.
Nice. And when we were talking about like the young wrestlers, like there's this one young wrestler in AEW. I think he definitely has a lot in him to go for. He's only 18 years old. Nick 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 Wayne, like
Yes.
he's tremendous. Like, oh my God, like I think he definitely can carry the company in years and years to come.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, Nick Wayne is phenomenal. He's on the same level as what Will was at that age.
Exactly. Yes.
And having Will there, and Will could potentially, I want to say mentor, but he could definitely guide Nick.
Mhm.
And in 10 years' time, Nick could be Will. you know,
Oh, yeah,
quite
definitely.
easily.
Definitely.
But the one thing I like about Nick is, you know, at 18, he's contracted to one of the biggest pro wrestling companies in the world.
Mhm,
And
mhm.
quite easily, he could walk around with a chip on his shoulder or have a bit of an ego, you know. And I've seen that on the indies. You know, you get an 18, 19-year-old win a championship and they think that they're the best things since sliced bread. Nick is still humble. He's
Yeah,
hungry. He's eager to learn. He knows that this is only the beginning and that, you know, he's got a very bright future. You know, Nick is one of the guys actually that, you know, made me feel comfortable because I'm a foreigner coming into that company,
that's
you
true.
know, and I'm potentially someone that's going to take one of your friends' jobs or your job or your spot on TV, you know. And wrestling, like I said at the beginning of this interview, you know, it's show business, not show friends. And I'm not always one that can sit there and want to make friends. But Nick was so easy to talk to. He's such a lovely, humble lad. You know, and I wish him nothing but the best. He could be the face of that company in the next 5, 10 years, 100%.
Definitely, yes, definitely. And the last question that I will ask you is, where could fans follow you at? Where could they follow like your upcoming matches and all that stuff?
So yeah, no, thank you. I appreciate that. So on Twitter and Instagram, I'm under the Zak Zodiac. I can't drop that name, even though I work as Zak Knight now. You know, I created my own identity with that name. I didn't use my family name. I used my
Mhm,
own name. You know, so
mhm.
the Zak Zodiac on Facebook, it's Zach Beavis, my shoot name, and on YouTube, you know, I occasionally upload some shorts on there, and that's just Zak Zodiac as well. Um, but yeah, get on there. Come say hello. I love talking to the fans, the positive, nice ones, not them negative motherfuckers.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, well, Zach, thank you so much for coming on. It was really nice talking to you. Thank you.
No, thanks, bro. I appreciate it. Yeah, it's been great. I appreciate it. And I just want to say one more thing. Watch this space. You know, I think people forget I'm actually only 33 at the end of this month. I've still got good years in me. And you know, like I said to you, the last 5 years is where I felt like it was a rebirth for me and opened my eyes. You know, so this is only the beginning of what you're seeing. In 5 years' time, I will be the face of AEW, and Nick will have to work from me. Trust me. Um, yeah, I'm very loyal. I'm fiercely loyal. AEW took a massive gamble on me when no one else did. So as far as I'm concerned, you know, TK Tony Khan is got a worker here for life if I'm accepted to be there.
Oh my God, yeah. Like I could definitely see you taking on Swerve and Will Ospreay and all
Bro,
the
listen,
top
I love them to
names.
bits. They're phenomenal wrestlers, but they're not fighters. They're not fighters. You
That's
know,
true.
people can act like tough men all they want. Everyone's got a plan until they get punched in the face. And unfortunately for them, that's my finishing move. I will knock both of them fuckers out. No problem.
I,
And I say
I
that with a straight face. I'm not even gagging with you.
hey, if anyone can do it, it's definitely you.
Oh, trust me, mark my words. Will and Swerve. It might take a year, 2 years, or 3 years. I'm climbing up the ladder to get where they are. That's what I'm doing. I'm busting my ass and I'm not afraid of the grind to get there. But when I do, both of them are going to get knocked the fuck out. Mark my words.
Okay, you heard it here first. Well, thank you again. It was a real honor, and I had a lot of fun talking to you. Thank you.
No, thanks, bro. I appreciate you taking time out your day to talk to me as well. Enjoy the rest of your day at work.
Thank you, buddy. I appreciate that.
You're welcome, bro. Are you coming to any event soon, by the way?
Yeah, whenever AEW is back in Philly, that's where I live at in
Philly.
Philly.
Right.